Our Patreon request this week was the 2018 film Slender Man, as requested by Lava Skin. So yeah, basically, we've got some girls, and they get, not conned, but they're fucking teenage girls, and they end up doing a ritual to get the fucking Slender Man to basically start stalking them. They have to deal with him stalking them and tormenting them. He fucking steals one of their friends and makes them go crazy. That's about it. It's spooky! Who cares? Hand out your haiku.
My haiku, as inspired by Slender Man. Girl Squad sleepover. Turns to Slender Man summon. Bad CG kills them. Yeah, this, let's see, my first note I wrote down is, woof.
Yeah, this
movie is rough.
I wasn't a huge... I mean, it did a good job setting up the environment. I just wasn't super into this movie as much as I thought I was going to be. And I remember when it came out and when we were about to watch... Or when I say we, but when we were going to watch it this week, I remember thinking, how hard could it be to fuck up Slender Man? And boy howdy, did they figure out how to do it with this movie. Yeah, like I said, the environment's fine. It's just like, I was so unengaged and like bored watching the movie, like, cause I already know what happens. I think if any of us have played or watched enough of the videos, we know what's gonna happen. So I think this movie actively was worse because they decided to go away from the tradition of what the game normally is and decide to make it what they interpreted was their version of Slender Man, which usually ends up in a poor version of the original. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, good environment setup. I don't remember Slender Man being related to trees, so that was kind of weird.
He takes place in a forest.
It does take place in a forest, but he was not a tree. So I don't know, just kind of whatever, kind of boring.
Yeah, no, they do a lot of like, they kind of place Slenderman off as a very like psychological horror kind of thing, which I could see working, but they definitely take it a little too far. They have a lot of scenes that are just like, this is flashy imagery of bullshit that's happening in her fucking mind, and it didn't really work, especially because CG is really fucking bad in this movie.
Yeah.
They also, like, Slenderman normally is a pretty elusive monster, I would say, for the most part, but he's very in their face and flashy in this film, which just is very opposite of what I expect, and that's, I don't think it worked particularly well. They could have maybe made it work with better direction, but yeah, I think the biggest fumble of this is that they had a really easy working W, just basically make of like a recreation of the fucking games, really easy fucking dub, and then they just had to, do some generic fucking storyline of some girls getting terrorized by him, and it's pretty fucking boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Dylan. Literally the only compliment I can give it is that I kind of like the setting of it. I think some of the establishing shots are cool. But other than that, the dialogue, the CG, and the plot is just yikes. It's so bad. That first line that we hear the character speak is just immediately tells you what kind of a shit show you're in store for.
I mean, yeah, fucking the acting in this film is not particularly all that great, and the characters as well are not very fleshed out or interesting either, I would say, which just, leaves you not really caring what the fuck happens to them throughout this movie. Like, honestly, fucking, if they just made a dramatization of those two girls who attempted to murder their friend for Slender Man, that would have been far more interesting.
I do think it's funny that there's that one guy that is just constantly trying to fucking hook up with the girl, and like she just is constantly freaking the fuck out when they're trying to fuck, and he's just like trying to keep getting that pussy, dude. He's unrelenting for that shit.
I don't know if I'd say that, like, once they're, like, actually about to do the deed and she has a fucking panic attack, he seems to, like, back off of that.
I think it's funny.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really think so. This is a, not very good movie.
Yeah,
it's
very disappointing, unfortunately.
It's not even, like, so bad it's good. It's just...
It's just
bad.
Yeah, it's a pretty nothing film overall, I would say. So I guess I'll kick off the rankings here. I'm going to give Slender Man a D-.
Dude, I second that.
I give it a flat D myself.
Did I mean to write this rating down? Hold on a second.
Before you correct it, what did you write down?
I don't think I can
correct it. You gave it an A-.
Huh?
Nothing.
No, say it again.
I said you gave it an A- as a joke.
No, that's too high.
Yeah, I know. That's the fucking joke.
I gave it a B, Mike.
That doesn't make any sense, Dylan.
You know, he found some good in it here and there.
You guys said something about the CG, and I didn't really catch that.
You didn't catch that the CG looked like dog shit?
Do I look like? Have I ever been on
What about
record?
that shot where he's standing in the forest with the tentacles out and they're like clipping through the trees around him? You didn't think that looked bad?
I didn't know it was clipping through. I'm really bad. Literally, it has to be like Journey to the Center of the Earth bad for me to realize a movie has bad CG, or
Dude,
like
this was
Godzilla
worse.
1998. This was worse?
Yes.
You think so?
Well, this one had really bad CG, but Journey to the Center of the Earth was pretty bombastic with their CG. This movie's a lot more subtle with it.
I don't know. I'm looking at all the. I think I'm mostly reflecting on the fact that this movie set up like the environment well, because like I was still like.
It did have nice establishing shots. I do think it's an interesting choice that like a lot of this movie takes place like in a very sunny, beautiful looking day. They don't do a great job setting the atmosphere sometimes.
Like, just for reference, some of the movies that have in D&D minus are like Midnight Cowboy, The Village, Metropolis, Texas
All
Chainsaw.
movies that should be out of that rank.
You mean you think they should
All
be lower?
movies that are better than this one.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I'd say they're on par with this one.
I would much
for the
rather watch
most part.
this over those.
You guys are fucking high lambasting Midnight Cowboys or the movie's peak. Anyways, that puts it at a D+ overall, I suppose.
Well, hang on, Dylan, are you actually
okay.
keeping it B-?
I'm looking at my ratings here, and I can't. I mean, I don't really know, dude. Like,
I mean, go with your heart, my man. But you're not making a convincing argument. Let me put it that way.
I don't like. I can't imagine. I can't imagine it putting lower than C though.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't think it was as bad as you guys did. We run into these things all the time. At least at this
That's
point.
fair enough.
I remember fucking going over to Dylan's at one point for like some party or whatever, and he was watching this this shitty like horror show about like the 2-sentence horror shit from Reddit. And I remember making fun of it because it was basically on par with this film. Dylan was like, "What are you talking about? Like, this show seems totally fine. What are all these complaints you have with it?"
2-sentence horror show. What is that?
Yeah. I think it was just called 2-sentence horror. It was based off of the fucking subreddit.
Weird. I do not remember watching that.
I see.
Anyway, regardless, yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine putting it lower than C. Just put it in C. Screw it.
Okay, I guess. And it lands at a D overall.
Wow.
There we go.
Crazy.
The first live change in Guapish movies.
Surely there's been another one.
Not as immediate.
Okay.